Next up for us, Baltimore Ravens at Cleveland Browns. Ravens 2-1, 1-0 on the road. Browns 2-1, 2-0 homer at Cleveland Browns Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. 73 Fahrenheit, sunny, 7 miles per hour. I sent you a message today about this game. And, I have the luxury of being in some football chats with some great cappers, and a bunch of them are here in our chat. And I saw a bunch of them extremely interested in the Ravens. Um, we also heard Doc talking about this division and saying how, in the AFC North, you can just shake them all up and let them roll out, and it's -3. Doesn't matter where they're playing or who's playing. It's a -3 situation. But I've been watching these Browns, and good God, are they a good football team? They are such a good football team. And the Ravens are dealing with all these injuries. But I sent you the message. I said, are the Browns a trap? Are they a trap? Now, obviously, this total is very appealing. It opened up at 42, juiced pretty heavy to the under, and it moved to 41, about 15 hours later. This 41 is juiced. I expect to see 40.5 very soon. I'm very interested in the under. Rainbow the God says Ravens easy. Danny Lopez liking the Browns. So I'm very interested in the under, as I will be in every Browns game and every Titans game. But obviously, that was my most confident bet of the week. And when it cashes quite comfortably like it did, you have this bias in your head, your subconscious, that makes you want to go back to the well. And I try to refrain from doing that.
When you have a most confident bet of the week, I missed the pub hub, so that's probably my own fault. But when you have a confident bet, please let me know. Shit, I would have bet it. Like I would trust that.
I was coming off a tough week.
I know, but
in a regular situation,
I know how it is.
In a regular situation, I would have done that. And I will do it as we move forward. Here we go. The -2.5 here for the Browns. It's at -115. It got up to -120 today. This -2.5 opened up at -114, and the first move was towards the Ravens. Who comes in when the line opens up immediately? It's not the schmucks. It's not the public. And they move to the Ravens immediately. The +2.5 on the Ravens got up to -120 Monday at 4:30 in the morning. So that was another red flag that got me uncomfortable about the Browns. And here we go. The official NFL play of the day from Ron Crawford. Baltimore +2.5. Spenny Pennybomb says Ravens are 12-3 against the spread in their last 15 in Cleveland. Okay, let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot. This is the kind of football that I want to watch. I'd prefer to watch it in poor weather, inclement weather. I'd prefer to watch, but I love these games with these.
Jimmy, this moved to 3 at Pinnacle now.
It has? Okay, I still have the 2.5 at -115.
I'm seeing a 3.
At what number?
Mine a +102.
Okay, that's valid.
They crossed the line though. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's very important stuff. 58% of tickets are on the Browns and 50% of the cash. From a total scenario, we have 75% of tickets on the under, and we don't have a cash number given to us at this point. Control Your Vessel says the Ravens have a lot of injuries. They sure do. Let's talk about it. Ravens coming off that shocking 22-19 overtime loss at home to the Colts. It was gorgeous. We were on the Colts. Everything. I'm on the Colts season win total over 6.5. Like everything was perfect. Everything was just absolutely beautiful. I loved every second of it. Now their penalty should have been called on that last play for the Ravens, but whatever. Shouldn't leave it to those spots anyways. So Lamar Jackson, 22 of 31 for 202 yards. He also ran 14 times for 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did fumble twice, losing one of them. 4 first-half fumbles for the Ravens, losing 2. Some bad luck. Ravens ran 37 times as a team for 186 yards. It doesn't matter who's available for the team. They're going to run. Zay Flowers had 8 catches for 48 yards. Mark Andrews caught 4 for 35. He hasn't looked very good. Still beaten, still hurting. They were just 6 of 16 on third down, only made 2 entries into the red zone. They cashed both of them. Offense couldn't get it done when it mattered most. 2 chances in overtime with incredible field position and couldn't get it done. And Zach Moss was
Did
excellent.
you see those plays
I
that
did.
the Ravens were running in overtime?
It was vanilla.
Oh, I haven't thought on it.
The Colts forced the Ravens to a 4th and 3 at the Indy 47. Lamar Jackson threw incomplete. Kyle Hamilton was excellent, though. Finished 9 tackles, 3 sacks. As a team, the Ravens finished with 5 sacks. That was wrong with me. 5 sacks and 7 quarterback hits. Baltimore has several injuries. Let's start going over them and see who we think is going to be where and what. So Odell Beckham Jr. dealing with the ankle injury. He was out. So was cornerback Marlon Humphrey. Left tackle Ronnie Stanley and center Tyler Linderbaum were out. Those are huge missing pieces. Linebacker David Ojabo left with an early ankle injury, and Gus Edwards is in concussion protocol. So that left them trying to close out the game with Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake. And that's not a 1-2 punch that's going to win you a lot of football games anymore. Drake was just signed last week to practice and activate from the practice squad. Also, Rashad Bateman, we're all waiting for him to get rolling, and he re-injured his hamstring. Safety Geno Stone has a rib injury. And so now what are the Ravens doing? Well, they're about to sign Kyle Van Noy. Maybe they signed him today, but that's what it's come down to. So Odafe Owe did not play in Sunday's loss. As I said, David Ojabo left after 4 snaps with the ankle injury. Tyus Bowser has been on the non-football injury list since the start of training camp. He can't return to week 5 at the earliest. So who does that leave for the Ravens? 4th-round outside linebacker Tavius Robinson played 55 snaps. Jeremiah Moon played 46 snaps in his first career NFL game. So can Van Noy come in? I mean, it's been a long time since he was, one of the big pieces to that Patriots Super Bowl winning defense. The Browns come in off a dominant 27-3 victory at home over the Titans in their first game without Chubb. They outgained the Titans 341-94. Deshaun Watson, 27-33, 289 yards, 2 touchdowns, his best game in the Browns uniform. He also ran 4 times for 16 yards. Amari Cooper caught 7 passes for 116 yards, and they like each other. They're real friends, and the magic between Watson and Cooper is only just getting started. If they
that
both
matters, that fucking matters too.
I agree, and they both need to stay healthy. But the Titans are a very hard group to run on, so it comes as no surprise that the ground game looked terrible in that first start without Chubb. Pierre Strong ran 6 times for 27 yards. Jerome Ford ran 10 times for 18 yards. Now he got a touchdown. He also caught 2 passes for 33 yards and a touchdown, but Kareem Hunt, he's going to take him a little bit to get rolling. 5 carries for 13 yards. They were 2 of 2 in the red zone. The defense was incredibly good. They held the Titans to 6 first downs. I mean, what does that remind you of? Oh, of course, week 1. They held the Bengals to 6 first downs. This defense is nasty. They forced the Titans to punt 7 times in 9 possessions. Derrick Henry was held to 11 carries for 20 yards. How do you big dick Derrick Henry? I mean, you got to be a monster to do that. And who's that monster? Myles Garrett, 5 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 quarterback hits. As a team, the Browns had 5 sacks and 8 quarterback hits. My goodness. Held the Titans to 2 of 12 and 3rd down, 0 of 2 in the red zone, controlled every facet of the game, had the ball for 38 minutes and 29 seconds of the tilt. And the first thing I think of is 10 years ago, I'd already be on the Browns. But I just know that everybody is thinking the same thing. Not everybody. Not the Sharps, not Ron Crawford, not the people who are using their advanced models. But the public all just saw the Browns dominate and the Ravens lose at home to the Colts. And that's why I have to stop myself and wonder, am I about to walk into a trap? Take it away, Troy. The floor is yours. Ravens, Browns.
So it's going to probably come as a surprise to you. When I first started looking at this game, I was thinking Ravens on a teaser. That was kind of where I was leaning. And I'll take the Ravens if they get to a 3. And after the games last week, I mean, just like you just said, Browns smack down the Titans. Ravens lose outright as 8-point favorites. But when you start looking at this game, I always start with the market, see sharp action on the Browns. But, after the Colts loss, I mean, it just gave me so much pause, so much hesitation. So this was the first game I watched. I have 4 screens in my room right now. I watch 4 games at a time. I always have a game on my main screen. This game never made the main screen because I didn't have my action on it. So I had to go back and rewatch it. This was number 1 on the list. And what I seen was actually pretty fucking crazy. Watson, he looked rough early. And at watching the first half, first couple drives, first possession, I was like, man, I was watching thinking, same old shit. how did they put up 27 points? There's no way it was from this guy, Deshaun Watson, but he progressively got better and better, and they utilized him to his strengths, which is the deep ball. He throws the deep ball. He throws an incredible deep ball, and he led week 3 in air yards per attempt. And I think that's actually pretty impressive too, because they were on the bottom half of that spectrum before week 3. And Amari Cooper, I'm telling you right now, this guy goes for 200 plus yards easily, if not for the pass interferences that were or weren't called. Some were, some weren't. It didn't end up mattering because they smacked him down anyway. So I was extremely impressed with this Browns offense after losing Chubb. I mean, definitely an inspired effort. Like you say, I mean, you lose your star, teams step up, and they fill the void. And so, like, you know, still after watching the Browns on offense, I was still a little skeptical. But then the defense, I mean, this shit's just crazy. How many snaps have been in the red zone? I think it's 2 snaps have been inside the Browns red zone. And the first snap that they took in the Browns red zone, the Titans picked up a fumble inside the 20. What happened after that? The very next play, they lose 4 yards. It ended up being 3 consecutive plays of lost yards, resulting in the only Titans 3 points in the entire game. They didn't give up a first down until halfway through the second quarter. They have the best third down defense in the NFL. And watching film on this, I mean, dude, offenses look scared. These offensive skill players and the quarterbacks, they look scared. The QB's internal clock's got to be ticking. He's got to be thinking about it. He has to be because the pressure is so extraordinary. Running backs are scared to turn up and turn it upfield. You see, I've seen so many times where Tajay Spears or Derrick Henry, King Henry, moving laterally to the line of scrimmage, and he did not want to turn that bitch upfield because they were going to bring the boom on his ass, and they definitely did that. Held him to just scraps at the very best. What's the QB psychology got to be when you're playing against the Browns? You hesitate for 1 second, you're sacked, potential turnovers. And Lamar Jackson, his ball security, I mean, he's loosey-goosey with the ball in the pocket. Go back and watch him play his last game. He looks solid in the pocket, but his ball security, he's not holding it with 2 hands. He's coming hand on, hand off. I mean, this is going to end up resulting in a fumble, at least one fumble. And we know Lamar Jackson likes to fumble the ball, especially in the pocket. And his past few games versus the Browns, I mean, 4 picks, 1 touchdown? He was able to win a couple of those games, but I expect this offense to have a better output versus this Ravens defense. Who have the Ravens played? Texans with a rookie QB in week 1 with a decimated team. They didn't have any of their players. The Bengals with a hobbled Joe Burrow. Oh, yeah, but, the Browns play Joe Burrow too. Well, they smacked Joe Burrow 24-3. The Ravens beat him by a field goal. There's a difference there. There's definitely a difference, in my opinion, between those 2 performances. And the Colts, what happened with the Colts? Another competitive team, they took a loss. A game they shouldn't have lost. I mean, it took 50-yard field goals or whatever from the Colts. I don't think they should have lost that game, but they definitely were never in range of covering that game. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I've been talking about fading this guy. I've been talking about his leadership for 3 straight weeks. You guys know how I feel about that. But how about Harborough? You watch the offensive play calling late in the second half and in overtime? Tell me you don't trust your quarterback without telling me you don't trust your quarterback. That's what Harbaugh did with his play calling late in that game. And on 3rd and short on the 50-yard line to win the game, first down ices this game because you got Justin Tucker. What do? Wide open receiver, threw the ball behind him. Maybe there's a little pressure. So you can imagine the pressure here is going to be a lot more. I just struggled to find between Lamar Jackson's ball security, the injury-riddled roster, Harbaugh and Munkin, obviously lack of faith and trust with Lamar Jackson, who's supposed to be their supreme leader as a quarterback. This is a brown spot all the way for me. And I moved a lot more confidently knowing that I went into this looking towards the Ravens. And immediately after watching film, coming back, looking at the stats, looking at the data, this is a perfect spot for the Browns. So a couple trends that I was able to find, because we know I'm going up against trends with divisional dogs. Divisional dogs outperform. They've been profitable for seasons now, for a few seasons. And it goes on and off, some stronger than others, definitely. But I'll tell you this. When the Sharps, let's see, Sharps on the home team, sharp action on the home spread, the Sharps are 15-4, 79%. Sharp action on the money line, 12-7 ATS and straight up. Now, when the Sharps are on the home team and the line moves towards the home team, 6-0, winning by 14 points on average. Right now, that applies to this game. I'm on the Browns, Jimmy. I'm on a money line -2.5. You got me down for 2 units on them, but I'm gonna have a lot more than that.
Wow. Wow, that's exciting. It's exciting. You're right. Everything is pointing in that direction, and yet I'm still scared. I'm still nervous. Something
And I
just
don't blame you. I really can't blame anyone for taking the Ravens in the spot. It's hard to do so, especially when you just, I mean, you just blindly back a team that looked like shit and lost as favorites and against the team. Like, betting the Ravens in this spot seems profitable, but the divisional part, like, I just think there's more to it than just the trends.
I think I'm going to move on the under. What is your thought on that? I know we got to keep rolling here, but what is your thought on that number at 41? Do you feel like 42 is a much nicer spot? That 41 is a sharp line. What do you think about this total?
I think it's going under 38. I think it's going well under. I just have more faith in the Browns defense to win this ball game. And this is, all the offensive things that I've talked about with the Browns, that's all upside. It's this defense and just what they've done has just been so incredible. I mean, have you seen the clip, Jim, where they had the 2 tight ends moving with Garrett back and forth from the left side to the right side? I don't know if you've seen that.
I don't know if I have. No.
Oh shit, man, it's hilarious. So the Titans got called for a penalty because they were moving their tight end and their H back they're following Garrett. So Garrett went from the right side of the line, he moved to the left side, they moved to the left side. He moves to the right side, they follow him across the field. This cat and mouse game happened 3 times, and all of a sudden the yellow flag comes out, delay a game. Like, these teams are they're having trouble with this Browns defense.
I completely get it. And Rand saying, the issues backing a Ravens team when you don't have, Ronnie Stanley. I mean, he's the Tyler Linderbaum. Of course, their center is important, but Ronnie Stanley's just such a vet. I'm going to bet the under tonight. I want it in my pocket. Even that kind of makes me nervous because it just seems so blatant to me. And then the Browns seem blatant as well. And then I see cappers that I really respect on the other side.
I hear a lot of people liking the Ravens. I see. I know what the cash flow is. I mean, the cash flow is kind of telling us it's 50-50 in terms of bets, right?
I did not know that you were so bullish on the Browns, and sure makes it. This is how do you pick between the Browns game and the Bills game? I mean, you guys should just go back and forth every 30 seconds. But I love you being bullish on the Browns. I respect it enormously. The eye test, I would say the same thing. I'm going to bet the under at this point, and I'm not sure what else I'm going to do. It's funny in this division. You have the Browns. They always beat the Bengals, and the Ravens. They always beat the Browns, and it seems to always kind of stick to the pattern, no matter what the player personnel situation is. But I can understand backing them. Ron Crawford says I have Cleveland by 14. Says that line is telling me.
Hey, so I got to speak to Al Cervic's point in the chat because I love this. He said the secondary is being totally overlooked for Browns because the line's been so dominant. Right. It's not just the defensive line. Yes, the defensive line is dominant, but the coverage behind it's just damn as good. And they're playing just damn as intense as the defensive line. Oh, shit. Lost my train of thought, man. I had a good point. I'll come back to you, Al. I had a good point. I'll come back to you.
Oh, there's just so much information that we're trying to get across. I know it's easy to get lost when we start riffing. Let's move on. We have Troy heavy on the Browns, and I'm going to bet the under 41 this evening. And I kind of was hoping to bet it before I got here. It was just so much work to get into this card.